So tell me, when did
start.
the connection start? Yeah.
Well, yes. Toby, I was still a second lieutenant when I first met then Captain Ramos. In December of 1959,
Wow.
when General Arellano retired as Chief of Staff, the one who took over his job as Chief of Staff was General Manuel Cabal, former Chief PC, and the aide camp at that time of General Arellano, senior aide camp, was Captain Fidel Ramos.
Oh, okay.
And I was the junior aide camp of the incoming Chief of Staff, General Cabal, December 1959.
59.
And siguro a week after his appointment, General Cabal, I recall, spoke with then Captain Ramos to request him if he can serve temporarily as senior aide camp and administrative officer of the Office of the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces, until such time that he finds somebody who can be his senior aide camp.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, and I got to know then Captain Fidel V. Ramos.
Oh, okay.
But before that, syempre, when we graduated in 1957,
From the academy.
From the academy, and President Ramos graduated in 1950 in West Point.
Yes.
He came from West Point. When we were in the fields, Southern Tagalog, we've heard of him already.
Talaga? May reputasyon.
He has a very good reputation because I think at the time he was a senior first lieutenant, and already he was being tapped by the commanding generals of the different sectors and the area in second military area.
Ano yun? As a fighter or as
he was initially, I didn't know what his unit was, but he was in a combat unit when he went to Korea in 1951-52. But we are talking of 1957 at the time when I heard about him as a senior as a staff officer in the command of then Colonel Sebastian, because the area, second military area at the time, was under Colonel Sebastian. And in my case, we were second lieutenants coming in at General de Villa. We were in the field with the BCTs.
Oh, okay.
So, but I did not meet him then yet, 1970-59, but it was when I was in GSQ, when I was taken in as junior aide camp of General Cabal.
Pero may reputation na siya, I suppose.
Oh, he is.
Yung naririnig mo ka mo.
You know, the reputation of Fidel Ramos was that, somebody who's that bright young officer from West Point. Kasi sa PMA, walang class 50. The first class after the war was class 51.
Oh, yeah, right.
Siya ay class 50 sa West Point. In other words, he took the exam in 46 and graduated in 1950. But when he came here, he was adopted by class 51, the first class after the war.
Oo nga, no?
So, all we heard about then, Lieutenant Ramos, somebody being dependent. Pinagkakatiwalaan talaga at yung bang gusto ng mga senior officers for him to be around. Because
Sought after.
noong siya, first lieutenant pa yan. Nasa field kami, nandidinig na namin niya si first lieutenant.
Why? He was efficient, he was, what was the reputation?
I suppose, when you're a commander in the field, you're looking for young officers, lieutenants and captains who can help you with, especially preparing plans, preparing situation maps, preparing briefing materials for VIPs who visit the command, and he happens to be, shall we say, being depended upon by these senior officers.
A very good organizer, maybe.
He is a very good, at saka masyadong focus sa kanyang trabaho. But, so we were together for a short while, less than 1 year in the Office of the Chief of Staff, when he, together with his group, Captain Joe Magno, attended the Special Forces and the Psychological Operations course in Fort Bragg.
Oh, yeah.
So I was left behind as the aide camp. Nakakuha na ng kapalit siya. Si Captain, I don't know if you heard of Piping Reyna, Major Piping Reyna. Yeah, he was the one who took over the job as senior aide camp and administrative officer. Okay, so I also through his effort, I didn't even know that. I was having breakfast with the chief of staff. Kaming dalawa lang eh. Sabi niya, Eddie, ikaw pala aalis din. Bakit, sir? Sabi ko. Sabi ni Eddie Ramos, you will take that ranger course in Fort Benning, the course of that Angel Canapi, yung former aide niya, took. Hindi nagulat ako. So, they were there. Hindi na kami nagpangabot sa Fort Bragg naman sila. Ako, Fort Benning.
Yes.
So, when they came home, I stayed there from September of 1960 up to April of 1961.
So, he recommended you?
I took the airborne and ranger courses in Fort Benning. So, when we returned here, the higher headquarters was directed to organize Special Forces Airborne Unit for the first time. Special Forces and Airborne Unit in the Philippine Army. And the core group that was tasked to do that was commanded by senior na Captain Fidel Ramos.
Oh.
Captain pa rin siya noon.
So may dahilan kung bakit ka nirekomenda for that?
First of all, me, as a young officer, alam ko na may reputation siya for, he's a very professional officer. And therefore, knowing that the group, like then Captain Ramos, Joe Magno, Angelo Coding, Dave Abundo, Captain Batilo, there were 5 of them. So, except for Batilo, the 4 of them were tasked under then Captain Ramos to organize the Special Forces Company, Airborne Company.
It's a very specialized unit.
Very special. And the conduct of basic airborne courses in Fort Magsaysay. So when I came in 1961, after my wedding in May, I was first assigned to Philippine Army School Center. And by the next year, 1962, I joined our unit, the Special Forces team from Fort Bonifacio, joined the group of then Captain Ramos in Fort Magsaysay. So, from 1962 up to 1965, with then Captain Ramos as our senior commander there, we were together and since we were conducting airborne training for many students, both officers and men. Being a graduate of the Ranger training in the United States, I handled the Ranger module of the entire Special Forces course from 1962 up to 1966 for 4 years.
4 years.
At the time, then, Major Ramos already
promote na.
was taken to headquarters Philippine Army, and he was relieved by Captain Bienvenido Castro.
What was he like as a senior officer, as your commanding officer?
If there's anything, I observed with, kami sa military, first, when you attend a military school institution, siyempre, the thing that is paramount is for you to develop some discipline in yourself. And one of the things that I noticed when then Captain and later Major Ramos was our commanding officer, he was very, very professional, He saw to it that all of us were doing our things at the right time. We are punctuality, and even our conduct when we go for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We do not start until and after our commanding officer was there in that same.
Okay.
Yan. And then second, there is something. Siyempre, ako nga, I was the instructor in charge of the Ranger module. I said Ranger module, everything about rangering. I was handling it because I was a graduate of the US. And the members of the Special Forces Company, then Captain Ramos, have to go through it. There is one particular event that I noticed, in setting the good example.
Okay.
You know that vertical cliff, 100 feet vertical cliff, we call that rappelling.
Yes.
Rope rappel. I was instructor. My golly, I could not forget the time when he himself had to be the first one to go through it to show the others that it's not that difficult. And he really, siyempre, first time niya, he was struggling pag ganun pa niya, mahuhulog na siya. But, you know, yung sabi kong setting a good example. And that is a quality that I first noticed with him, na pinapakita niya that the things that people under him have to go through, first he can go through it. For example,
he wouldn't ask people to do something that he wasn't willing to do himself.
Siya muna.
Yeah.
Okay, like for example, so we were training people for jumping, parachuting.
Yeah.
Now, jumping, sabi namin, Hollywood jump means without what you call this, equipment.
Yeah.
Meaning, walang equipment, walang baril. Basta Hollywood meaning uniform lang. Pag sinabi niyang starting next week, all our jumps will be equipment jump, even at night. Equipment jump. Yes, with all our equipment, you know what he does to show that it can be done. It's not that difficult. He will jump, not only with the equipment, meron pa siyang one case of San Miguel beer dito. Para ipakita na jumping with your equipment is not difficult. Basta ipapakita muna niya, siya muna ang everything that our unit or people in under training went through. Siyempre, pakita muna niya na he can do it. Setting a very good example. Okay. You know, these are all inputs in the discipline, developing discipline in a soldier. Basic physical conditioning to be. So, in 7 days, except when you're off for a break on Sunday, Monday to Saturday, we wake up before 5 and we go road run sa Port Magsaysay. Our commanding officer, then Captain Ramos, even if he came from Manila for a conference, he saw to it that by the time we start the road run, even if he was only in dress shoes and khaki, he will meet us and run with us.
Wow.
He sees to it that he's there for the run. Coming from Manila at that time, the trip was 2 hours and a half.
And you said every day?
Every day.
So you did your run? How long was the
Oh
run?
my gosh. We would
10,
normally do that
15K?
for about 30 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
And just to give you how he inculcates discipline. When he became a 4-star general, chief of staff, when he became Secretary of Defense, because when he was chief of staff, I was the deputy chief of staff.
Yes.
When he became Secretary of Defense, I was Undersecretary of Defense. Imagine even at the time, in Camp Aguinaldo, we were doing road run in the mornings, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I don't know if somebody told you that when he was president, even the Secret Service people
PSG. Yeah.
with him in Washington, they were surprised that they had a road run in the morning, president.
The U.S. Secret Service? Talaga?
Siyempre may assign sa kanya.
Yeah.
Dahil president siya, visiting president. Nag-road run din niya sa Washington, D.C.
Nagulat.
No, what I'm trying to say is that discipline in him had been inculcated. And up to the time that, I don't know how old he was in 1988, 89. But he maintained. And to think that he has only one kidney.
Oo nga. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to relate here is the kind of person that he is. Okay. So,
what about yung ano, sir? So physical, you have to be
well-conditioned,
physically well-conditioned. You have to lead, set the example. What about academics?
Well, of course, we were never together in any classroom because he's much ahead.
Yeah, but he required his units to be. You have to be proficient.
When we were in the special forces of Port Magsaysay, he will always tell us, rather than do anything else like, card game, etc. During weekend, sabi niya, look, you have a lot of books there, special military manuals in the library. You go there and read during weekends rather than play or whatever.
Talaga.
Napakano niya. He's very, very professional talaga.
Masinop ba talaga? When did that attention to detail and yung very
Okay,
process
so now, he left us 1965 momentarily. Then we prepared for Vietnam
Oh yes, right.
for August 1966.
PhilCAG.
PhilCAG. Okay. So when we were he went back to Fort Magsaysay because kami tatlong special forces team
Yeah.
used to be under him, was part of the advanced planning group. Siyang head. We left August of 1966. I recall, the day before we left, sabi niya sa akin, Captain ERMITA, sabi niya sa akin, you prepare our loading plan when we reach Saigon. Loading plans, airplane, going to Tainin, which is about a 45-minute ride.
Your deployment
and
area.
And then, just isipin mo lang kung anong klaseng aeroplanong gagamitin and you prepare different plans, and loading plan, like C-47 ba, merong C-123, C-130, Fokker. So, imagine, I was preparing to leave, going to war. Hanggang sa bahay, nag-iimpact ako, hindi ako makatulog. I have to finish that plan that he told me to prepare. And true enough, pagdating namin sa Tansanut Airport, so we didn't know what plane. So, what plan do you have? Ako, I have ABCD, different combinations of aircraft. And look at how he has anticipated that problem.
May strategic.
And at the time, he was our chief of staff of the PhilCAG.
Yeah.
But he was designated by General Tobias as the advanced planning group head. So we went there, and you know, that is one unforgettable moment. Can you imagine? You could hardly say goodbye to I have 2 children at the time. Captain pa ako noon Nasa kami sa Fort Bonifacio. And I was preparing to go to Vietnam. I'm still scrambling to finish the plan that he told me to prepare. That is because he's really very thorough, at saka yung iniisip niya ang daan ko nung kailangan, especially
sa different scenarios.
Different, yung sabi, yun nga, isipin mo lang whether it's 2 C-123 or 1 C-130 or how many Fokker plane, basta paghalo-halo. Pagdating namin, what plan do you have? Plan C. Yun, nandun ako, milistahan ako, loading plan, etc.
So nothing unexpected because it was planned
and then,
for. So forward thinking?
Always. Masyadong dedicated yan. Nung dumating kami sa Tainin, pagdating namin doon, so we were ahead by about 3 weeks main body. Now, our mission, or the main body, was to clear Tangian Forest. But yung aming special civic action team, we were not called the special forces team because ayaw namin ipaalam na kami mga special forces team, special civic action team. When we arrived, sabi niya sa akin, Ed, you prepare your initial civic action plan, the specific activities, while we are here, and when the main body arrives. And true enough, so binanatan ko naman yan. So, pabalik-balik sa kanya, papel sa kanya, he knows how to teach juniors like us. He receives the draft you prepare with this red pakanda niya correction. It goes back 3 times, balik-balik.
Doon pa lang may red ink, buhay na yung red ink, sir.
Tanga, nasa bulsa lagi.
Oh my.
But anyway, that is his, shall we say, work ethics. Napaka-thorough, very, very thorough.
But apparently, given the duties and assignments he was handing over to you, he had his eye on you.
Oh, well, siyempre naman siguro, somehow, he has inkling na what he told me, or for that matter the others, can really be done because he had gone through that. Yung mga preparation of those plans, he had gone through it many times over, even as a first lieutenant. Sabi nga siya, we heard that ang reputation niya sa armed forces is very high. That Lieutenant Ramos, talagang the senior officers are wanted them all in there.
With him.
Among the staff or junior staff.
Yeah.
But that if there is anything that is inculcated na may mind yung bang kanyang type of leadership, setting the good example.
Yeah.
Setting the good example. He does not, lahat mga regulations or policies within the command, he sees to it that these are followed. He does not violate it. Pinapakita talaga niya na napaka-straightforward.
And you have to be well prepared.
Of course.
Both
You have to
physically
be.
and
Yes.
mentally. Ano?
Yeah. And alam mo, it's nice to be with him because alam mo na hindi ka naman pinapabayaan ng iyong senior officer. That's how it is in the military. That's why they call yung kanyang personal conduct. And I will tell you later on what everything I'm telling you is carried on all the way up to EDSA revolution, after yung crisis. I'll tell you how these things have been carried. That is his work ethics, that's his mental set niya. Ganyan talaga, very thorough. Very thorough.
And then, well, Major Colonel na ba? O
Ano na siya, Lieutenant Colonel na
Lieutenant
siya.
Colonel na.
Then, he came here ahead. So, I understand when we were in Vietnam, he was the headquarters Philippine Army. And then later on, we heard that he was taken as senior military assistant to the president sa Malacanang.
Yeah.
After we came from Vietnam. But that was but in he's forward thinking. So we arrived 1968.
Right.
The entire PhilCam unit was utilized by Marcos and became the nucleus of Metrocom. Because at that time, Toby, the PC was still under the armed forces.
Yes.
And Metrocom is PC.
Oh, okay.
Imagine ginawa ni Marcos, yung PhilCag under General Tobias became the nucleus of the big Metrocom. Lumaking Metrocom in 1970. By that time, Colonel Ramos had been promoted to Brigadier General and became Deputy Chief of Staff for Home Defense in GHQ.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, when we came at the time between 68 and 70, I was in Metrocom. Then I studied advanced infantry course. After my course in 1970, there were 4 of us from PhilCag who were ordered to GHQ because then General Ramos, as Deputy Chief of Staff for Home Defense, created the Office for Civilian Relations.
Oh, yeah.
But Toby, that Office for Civilian Relations actually is the cyber office of the armed forces.
Yeah.
But the euphemism is Office for Civilian Relations. Okay. And the people from Vietnam...
Cyber, so ano to? Propaganda, counter-propaganda?
It's the cyber office actually of the armed forces. Even during martial law. So the people from Vietnam, I became the chief of operations there. Isleta, Echeverria,
Oh, yeah.
Templo, and even for that matter, Diomagno. We were chosen there. But our CEO was not a Vietnam veteran, si General Picache.
Oh.
Guillermo Picache. Then, when martial law was declared this way, right now, I kept telling people, ang vision talaga ni General Ramos, sabi ko, siguro lang, I did not ask him until now I have not asked him whether in 1970, he knew already that in 72, martial law will be declared. Because it's very important that the soldiers must relate well with the civilians. So I wanted to know, and I'll try to have a chance with him, whether in as early as 70, he knew martial law will be declared.
That early?
Because
Wow.
72 nag-martial law.
Yes. Oh.
So, noong 70, naging chief PNP siya, CPC.
PC.
Kami, naiwanan kami sa
CRS.
GHQ. Naging CRS na yon noong nag-martial law 1970, naging Civil Relations Service Armed Forces of the Philippines. It became a command civil relations.
Yes.
That is a euphemism for him being a PSYWAR office, Psychological Operations Office in the Armed Forces. Until now it exists. That is the brainchild of... and when he became
Of FVR?
Yes.
Oh.
And when he became chief of constabulary, he created also civilian relations in
the
headquarters
constabulary.
in Camp Crame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you will notice that the SAF, the forerunner of SAF, is the Special Forces in Fort Magsaysay.
Ito yung PNP version.
Si Colonel Dulay from Fort Magsaysay was assigned sa Crame, and then Jan Ramos, and the ones who trained the special, the paratroopers, and the Special Action Force sa Camp Crame. So the SAP and the CRS thing, the civilian relations are all creations of General Ramos.
So he was also a intelligence man.
Of course. But alam mo, interrelated lahat yan, Toby, Psychological operations, combat operations, intelligence is vital because you cannot do cyber or cannot do combat unless you have good intelligence.
Correct. And he relied on it very
Definitely.
well.
That's why he himself was an intelligence. I'm not very sure if President Ramos yata did not become chief ISAP or chief... No, not as chief intelligence. But he knew that. Remember, he graduated from Fort Bragg, psychological operations course.
Yeah, that
with
was
General Magno.
that was part of the training there.
Exactly. And then all these things happened, and I'm sure helped him a lot because from 1970, remember 70 up to 86, ang siya chief. Tama, up to 86.
Constabulary. Head of
Constabulary.
Constabulary and
during
Vice
that
Chief.
time, as chief of the constabulary, he was able to move around to inspect the units in the field. All over the Philippines. Not only twice over, siguro mga 10 times over. Ang sipag-sipag niya. He was looking at the status of the BC headquarters companies in the field.
Were you under him
I was
sa
not in the
constabulary,
BC.
or you were already at
I was
civil
with
civil
when he was
relations?
in constabulary, I was still there in CRS. And then from CRS, I was taken in 1976 by Undersecretary Barbero to be senior military assistant. And Barbero, that office was newly created by President Marcos, Undersecretary for Civilian Relations. Again, that is a euphemism that there is somebody taking care of relations, good relations with the public.
But at the same time, it was PSYOPs.
Exactly. And that's the reason also why I have developed, after coming from the Ranger School in 1970, I was sent to the same school where he went, psychological warfare course. I attended that same school. So I came back here, and then that was the time when I was taken in by Undersecretary Barbero, and at that time, President Marcos designated Undersecretary Barbero as the chairman of the Philippine panel for the negotiations with the Moro National Liberation Front. That was in 1975-76. Before that, ako naman in and out ako sa Mindanao. I was in
Ano, tour ka rin doon?
I was the representative of CRS sa SEMCOM at Jalabad, and later with Task Force Lanao, Langkaf, and then later on, Key Espaldon sa Zamboanga. But I was the psychological operations staff officer from GHQ. My mother unit is CRS, and I was sent
the field assignments.
Hence, sa military, there's such thing as military occupational specialty, MOS. What are the MOSs? You're an infantry officer, you're a demolitionist, you're a communications man, you are a aid man, etc. MOS. You're an ordnance man. Ang aking, after my course in Fort Bragg, ang MOS ko na is psychological operator, psychological warfare. Up to the time I retired.
So that eventually led to the 77 Tripoli
76 Tripoli Agreement.
76.
I was the secretariat, head of the secretariat.
Yeah, right.
Sa kasama ni Barbero, the first Tripoli Agreement, December of 1976. And so, meanwhile, President Ramos was here.
I was going to ask you that. There were a lot of reports during that period about atrocities, abuses, abuse of corruption.
Exactly.
Diba?
But as I said,
What? He was like a...
at least, so martial law 72
Yes.
up to 1981. But at least during that period, for my observation, if it had been different, somebody else,
Talaga.
as Philippine Constabulary Chief, things could have been worse. But he was so conscious of the need for the proper conduct by soldiers, and soldiers, I'm talking of the army or constabulary or marines, with the people. That's where psychological operations, your mindset as a psychological operator comes in.
Okay.
How to relate with the civilians. Okay, and that's why I said that I am very sure that as Philippine Chief of the Philippine Constabulary, he was always conscious that there's a need for him to see to it that the commands in the field under the provincial commander are properly instructed, motivated, and warned to prevent abuses by soldiers, especially by the Philippine Constabulary, on civilians. Kaya mabuti nga nung ginawa ni President Marcos, Martial Law 72 to 81, siya ang Constabulary Chief. Kung yan ay iba pa, Diyos ko po, siya nakita ko.
Could have been worse.
Nako, it could have been worse. Alam niya yung repercussions
Yeah.
pag nag-abuso. Pag nag-abuso mga sundalo, lalo ang PC. But siyang chief ng
But things turned for the worse actually when in 83 the Ninoy Aquino assassination.
There you are. That was 1993, and he was still at the time Chief PC, and at the same time Vice Chief of Staff yata.
Vice Chief of Staff, yes,
Concurrent
to General
Jan Ber.
Fabian Ber.
Yeah. Pero alam mo, at the time ako, as far as how much I know him, President Ramos never knew that thing was happening, was going to happen. I don't think he knew it. I don't think, wala akong idea about yung towards the August 1983 incident. I have no recollection of, basta I know President Ramos was the chief of the Philippine Constabulary at the time.
But apparently people in the protest movement of the time saw him in much the same light that you're describing, a professional, someone who kept the abuses at bay, the corruption at bay, and they were actually calling for him to resign and leave the government and withdraw his
Correct.
support. But he stayed on. Ano yun? Protect the institution. Protect the institution.
Protect the institution.
But because if he left, then there would have been
Nobody
faction.
knows what could happen. There could be factions. Okay, look, what happened during the EDSA Revolution. Okay, so he decided to join after they spoke with Enrile. My God, Toby.
Expected mo ba yun? Na
I did not know.
magwi-withdraw siya?
At that time, I was in the Department of Defense. Kaya namatay si Barbero, I was the one running his office. My God, about this time, when I got a call, Saturday, February 22, sabi sa akin ng mga DND, Sir, alam mo na ba nangyayari? Bakit? Sabi niya, si boss nandito, andun na si Enrile. Bakit? There is news that he will be arrested.
Oh.
So sila gringo nandito, etc., etc. So, nasa bahay ako, sabi ko, keep me posted. Kasi na ako taga-Defense Department din ako noon Mamaya-maya, I got a call siguro about 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
Totoo, sir, sabi niya. President Ramos is coming to join us. Yung pala nag-usap na si Enrile at si Ramos telepono.
Ah.
And really advised him about what his fate. That JP and Ramos will be arrested.
I would be arrested. Okay.
Kaya siya.
Nag-ano na siya. But,
At that time, he just had a meeting with the residents of Ayala, Alabang.
Oo.
That was when you said, that para bang ano bang ginagawa mo dyan? Ginagawa ka lang sanitizer ni Marcos eh. Puro kalukuhan ang ginagawa. Ikaw pati nasasangkot. Eh, napaka-decent tao yan eh. But, hindi namin napapag-usapan ever
talaga.
what was the factor that made him Sir El Jr. there. Kay JP.
But that was what then Minister Enrile, and then Ram, no?
Ram.
So, did you know about Ram beforehand? Did you know
Well,
if they connected with FVR?
No. Ako, ay nandun nga ako kay Enrile. I did not have, the only thing I knew about Ram at the time was there was a graduation ceremony in PMA. Then suddenly they unfurled that banner, we belong. That's how we became conscious.
Okay.
Pero that's the only time I knew. So, nung nag-end sa revolution, that is the time na everything came out that the Ram pala all along had been preparing. And all because JP, and for that matter, President Jan Ramos then might be among those that will be arrested.
How did you become part of that
Toby.
that revolt, rebellion?
When that happened, Toby, I was in the Department of Defense, running the office, the civilian aspect, si Saiwar office. At the same time, bagong promote ako sa general, I was the commanding general of CRS. When President Ramos became acting chief of staff, because Bear was being investigated by the Agraba Commission.
In the
So he was acting chief of staff. While as CPC, inilagay niya ako commanding general ng CRS AFP, which became the basis for my promotion to one-star rank. Kasi before, wala akong TO position for general. So, ginawa niya ako CRS chief, nagkameron ako. That was after I brought out Salapudin in surrender na pinresent namin kay Marcos. It was he was the acting chief of staff at the time. And I recall Marcos pa after na-dismiss na sila sa the president of the cabinet, sabi ni President Marcos, I think somebody might just get his star. Kinakatsawan ako.
Okay. Nagpaparinig na sa'yo.
At the time, bagong promote ako sa noong 1985. Ako naki-enrile in the morning. Excuse me. Nasa CRS ako in the morning as si commanding general of CRS. In the afternoon, which is just sa DND na doon ako. Noong nangyari itong EDSA Revolution. So, it is not very difficult to see where my loyalty was when it happened. Kaya ang ginawa ko, Toby, nagtago na kagad ako. Why? Alam ko, sinabi sa akin nung aide ni General Bear, pinahanap kagad ako ni Marcos at saka ni General Bear. Pinahanap ako tatlong Metrocom. Pinahanap ako, kaya doon ako nakatira sa Port Bonifacio. Nagtago ako sa bahay ng pinsan ko sa Ayala, Alabang. Then, the following day, Saturday yun. The following day, nung nasa sila, President Ramos, General Ramos, and really were in Krame, sumunod na ako doon. Pagdating ko doon, sabi kagad sa akin ni General Ramos, edi bahala ka na sa ating media. Ako na nagtumanga ng media.
Ikaw na yung...
Ako na ngayon ang...
Di ikaw yung dinumog nung foreign press, nung local media.
Ako nag-organize nung yung sinasabi kay June Kitli, Radyo Bandido. I was the one who named it. You know why? Okay. You know the rationale for that? Sabi sa akin ni FVR, President Ramos, siguro mga bandang 3:00. And you better find out kung anong outlet natin for our broadcast media dahil by 5 o'clock, totally closed ng
Veritas.
kasi they destroyed
Oh,
already.
the transmit.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So paglabas ko, kausap ko si Father Reuter at saka yung isang nun, kaming tatlo. Just outside the room of General Ramos and Enrile. Suddenly, napatingin ako, nakita ko si Ben Siron. Sabi ko, Ben, hindi ba ikaw ang may tangan ng DCRJ? Yes, sir. Kasi sequestered property yun eh.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Oh, yung bang radio station mo, okay? Okay, sir.
Functional.
Ayun. Sinabi ko, brother, sabi ko, Father Reuter, Father, we have a station, DCRJ. Father, we will call it Radio Bandido because we are now, at the moment, we are on the other side of the fence. I was the one who coined that name.
You coined the,
Then, tinawagan si Junggit Lee.
Yeah.
Pinasamahan ng mga mother ng bata para makapunta doon sa Tamesa.
Where the station
was located.
Oh.
But siyempre, hindi ako nagsasabi sa media about that. Siyempre, let the media know that Junggit Lee was the one who coined that bandido. I was the one who named. Ang kami, alam mo, magkatandem kami doon sa headquarters sa Krame. Kami dalawa ni Isleta.
Oo.
Kami ni
General Isleta. Yeah.
So,
these were the CRS boys.
because Isleta was my deputy. That's why after EDSA, ginawa ko ni General Ramos, the Deputy Chief of Staff, Sines ang inilagay namin CRS. Para nag-general din siya.
Yes.
Hindi
kaya niya sinadya na ilagay ka i-endorse ka dun sa CRS post because it's comfortable with you.
Well, I suppose. After I was a DND man when I caused the surrender sa Lupudin. After that, para ma-justify yung aking rank na general, and you take over sa CRS. Then that was the time when he told President Marcos na marami naman nagawa na si Colonel ERMITA, yung binigyan ng Australia.
That became your...
July 1st, Navy Day yun, June of 1984. June of 1985. In 1985.
You became his deputy?
Yes, after the EDSA Revolution.
Kasi, di ba, pagkasumpa ni Cory, prinomote siya kaagad na Chief of Staff, New Armed Forces of the Philippines.
After that, the following day, he designated me as Deputy Chief of Staff.
Deputy Chief of
Kaya
Staff.
naman ganon, because again, the rank of the Deputy Chief of Staff is 2 stars. So I'm in a position to be promoted because of my role sa EDSA. So siya ang Chief of Staff, ako Deputy Chief of Staff.
So he took you under his wing na talaga?
Up to the time I retired, Toby.
Mukhang ganun na.
Until now. Bakit sabi ko, Toby, up to the time I retired? I did not know pala that General Ramos, as Secretary of Defense, had already informed Cory that when I retired that he will get me as Undersecretary. How did I know? During the wedding of my daughter, ang ninong siya sa Mrs. Aquino. Doon niya sinabi, somebody said, ako daw ipoproject as permanent ambassador to the UN to take over Tihanki. Okay? Apparently, I found out I was recommended to Cory by Mitra.
Speaker Mitra.
Because adopted class namin si Mitra, class 57.
Okay, yeah.
Ay doon sa dinner ng aking anak, doon sinabi ni Cory, paano ko paggagawa kang ambassador, hiningi ka ni Eddie Ramos, Undersecretary, nalinti ka lang. After the dinner, sabi niya sa akin, you take a 2-week vacation na April 15, mag-report ka na Undersecretary of Defense mo.
Yun na yun, pinagpahinga ka lang ng kaunti, tapos report na.
Kaya ang service ko sa gobyerno from 1953 to 2010, 57 years, uninterrupted.
Except for the 2-week vacation.
Except for the 2-week vacation. Why? So, I was his Undersecretary of Defense. When he decided to run for the presidency, I told him, Sir, will you allow me to run for Congress? Alam mo niya, uwi rin ako sa Batangas para kumpanya sa kanya. Pinayagan niya ako. Naging congressman ako, presidente.
Natural no?
Ako na naman ang kanyang man sa loob ng Congress. And this issue dito, maganda to.
Daming. Were you, Just to close the ano, no, I mean, he was chief of staff. He eventually became secretary. You were his deputy. He became
Secretary of
SND,
Defense.
and then you became USEC, DND.
He became president.
But you know, let me just that was the time of the coup attempts. You remember? Depending on who it is you're talking to, it's 5, 7, 9.
There are 7
Yeah, di ba?
plus
Yung
2 rebellions. Okay.
Let me ask you, what was it like having to fight former comrades? In dati magkasabay kayo, and then
Exactly. No, I think one question you should ask yourself. Can you imagine, alam mo that ang grupo ni Gringo, we are all getting orders from Enrile. And yet Enrile and Ramos are like that. But Ramos na chief of staff kami sa kanya lahat. Can you imagine that situation?
yeah,
Magkakasama kami ng Gringo.
exactly.
But this is where our training, yung pinag-usapan namin kanina, this is where our training in the PMA came in. Embedded in our mind is the content of the Constitution. Respect the supremacy of civilian authority over the military. And therefore, in all those coup attempts,
Yeah.
kami magkakaklase, pag nagbi-meeting kami, it's still in our mind. And all of us, we're just looking at Ramos.
Talaga, ganun pa rin. Influential pa rin.
And, my golly, Toby, if not President Ramos, si General Ramos, don't you know that actually he was the rallying point of the military during the EDSA Revolution?
Influential talaga.
Of course.
Kung wala siya,
It could have been different. It could have been different.
talaga.
And then, yung post-EDSA, series of crises,
Yeah.
7 times. Oh my golly, everybody look up to him kung anong signal sa kanya. Kami magkakaklase, kaming class 57, Toby. Siguro there are about a little less than 30 of us. We were all in command position. And the only one non-member of the class was FVR, who is class 50.
Oo nga.
Kami lahat. Vice Chief of Staff si Dibilla. Ako, Deputy Chief of Staff. Army Commander, Bas Padilla, classmate ko. Navy, under whom the Marine is. Hardiniano, classmate ko.
Oo nga. No?
Si Rene, concurrent, Chief PCINP.
Cruz.
Southcom was Tapia.
Yeah.
Nolcom was Browner. Solcom was Tony Samonte. Westcom was Commodore Takad. You're all my classmates.
Isang class yun.
Out of 7 division in the Philippine Army, 4 are commanded by my classmates. Out of 12 regional commands of the PC, 7 were our classmates. There were 29 of us in the armed forces. Kung kami ang natopak. But because of the inculcation in us about the effect of the training that respect civilian authority over the military, and all of us nakatingin lang kami, ano ba signal from him.
Constitutionalist. So kung medyo
Malaking
kung medyo nag-iba rin yung isip niya, baka
You could have
taken
awakened. Wala. Is there anybody who can stop us? Army, PC, Navy, lahat classmate ko. Lahat, all the fighting forces in the field are our class. Kasi lahat ng fighting battalions nasa area command
Yeah.
Right. Tapia, Browner. But that is how, that respect we have for this guy.
And the training, I guess.
Of course.
So even if you had to trade bullets with...
Kaya nga, ako sabi siya, can you imagine somebody asking, bakit daw malakas ang hila ni Gringo, class 71, sa mga young officers,
Bakit
to be able to pull 7 coup attempts and 2 rebellions?
Yeah.
alam, siya nang kwento sa akin siya.
Si Gringo mismo?
Ay,
Si FVR.
Kinento ko sa kanya, sabi niya, I told President Cory, don't worry, Mrs. President, Class 71 is up against Class 57.
Ah. Iba.
Laking bagay.
Yes.
This is story not so many people know about. Mga classmate ko, sinabi ko lang yan during our anniversary 2 years ago. Pinakipit siya kung anong sabi ni FVR sa akin para gumanda ang loob.
Did you ever imagine that he would run for the presidency?
Okay, I'll tell you something.
Sige.
Up to the time, after EDSA Revolution, I have no idea, okay? All right. So I was his Undersecretary of Defense. One day, towards last time, Congressman Edel Amante o Pagusan dropped by my office.
Okay.
Hindi ko makilala. Sabi niya, Undersecretary, sabi niya, I'm Congressman Amante. I would like to help you to get your help having an appointment with Secretary Ramos. Bakit po, sabi ko? Kasi alam mo, I want to share with him the sentiment in Congress because ang bulong-bulungan doon sa Congress, sabi niya, was siguro presidential timber si FVR. Despite the fact that the speaker was Mitra, LDP chair.
Yes.
Di gano'n, wala. So, after 15-20 minutes, umalis na si Amante, umakyat ako, sinabi ko sa kanya. O, hindi, sabi niya. Sabi ko, nandiyan si Congressman Amante, bakit daw? Sir, I think they know that you are facing them next week sa question hour as Defense Secretary. But he wants to see you. Bakit? Ikaw daw pinagbulungan doon sa Congress na ikaw parang to find out if you're interested becoming president. Hindi, parang siya, hindi siya pahalata. Wala.
Ano yung reaction ni FBR?
Wala, parang very ordinary.
Okay.
Di ba, nung sinabi niya sa sige, you bring him tomorrow, but you accompany him, ha, sabi sa akin. Di kami dalo ni Amante. Sa kanya harapan, magkanya si Amante.
Yeah.
Madaling salita, so he was able to give the message. Pagdating nga doon sa Congress, talaga naman I can imagine how Mitra could have felt ay talaga naman ganyan mga congressman kay FVR sa Congress.
When did you finally confirm na go na talaga si FVR?
Hindi Defense Secretary siya. Nga sabi ko nga sa iyo nung one of the, prior to the meeting sa ISAP nakainom yan na medyo nakaamoy Hindi, alam ko na talagang go na siya, no? Nung ko nahalata na he will make a go for it because inokay na siya ni Cory. Yan, meron mas kanya. But yung kay Cory, out of gratitude, kung ano naman ang nagawa. Tubi ko, hindi naman kay Ramos first ko attempt ni Gringo, wala na si Cory.
Dali na no? Yeah.
Sabi ko nga sa iyo, kami lahat nakatingala lang sa kanya. Siya ang chief of staff Siya ang Defense Secretary Enrile, then Ileto. Siya ang chief of staff. Ay kami lahat nakatingala lang niya.
How did you organize for, umuwi ka sa Batangas.
Of course.
Tumakbo ka sa distrito mo, no? Nandun ka na rin lang naman.
Exactly.
Tinulungan mo na rin siya. Paano mo, ang problema kasi ni FBR nun,
Wala, political organization.
Political machinery.
Anong napakalaking bagay. Ang taas ng kanyang angat ni Ramos after the EDSA Revolution. Terrific.
So may ano na talaga, may premium.
Oo.
May goodwill na.
Exactly. The way media treated, you are with media, the way media treated Ramos after the EDSA Revolution.
Yeah. Ang bango.
Paano naman? What was the first destabilization? The one in Manila Hotel takeover.
Yeah.
Okay? That is 86. Sumunod, Channel 4. January 87.
Yeah.
Sumunod, yun,
GMA.
Yung mahal na araw, yung they occupied the headquarters of the Philippine Army na pina-anti-tank weapon ni Cañeso. Ha? After April, yung sinunog ang yung yung muna, God Save the Queen.
God Save the Queen.
Okay?
Oo.
Sunod, yung inoccupy ang Camp Aguinaldo at kami sinunog. Ha? After that, meron yung 1989, takeover Makati.
Makati. Yeah.
Di ba? Eh, lahat naman ni Ramos was the one in the forefront eh.
Yeah.
That prevented those from succeeding. Oh, the Cagayan Valley Rebellion.
Aguinaldo.
Si Aguinaldo. And then, dito sa Cagayan de Oro, si Noble. Sino? Who was the chief officer at the time? Ramos. That's why everyone sa kanya. And that's, ako naman, ako na kanya deputy chief of staff eh. And that's the reason why.
He had
Konti yabang. That experience of mine, when I became Executive Secretary of Arroyo, I used my experience kito. 6 attempts, wala nangyari kaya sa mga distab
None.
Ako na Executive Secretary. Kung ano yun, imagine man, siyam na crisis yun akong Deputy Chief of Staff.
Yeah.
Ni Ramos.
So, sino yung tinap ninyo? Civil organizations instead of...
Well, as I said, to stop it, talagang mabango si...
So, maganda na yung kandidato.
To start with, maganda ng
produkto.
kandidato. Ay mabango pa rin si Cory coming from the EDSA Revolution. Napakabango naman ni Cory. With Cardinal Cinder, etc. Ay di kung sinong endorse ni Cory, kita ba't nanalo si Ramos? Nag-compliment eh. Because of his action to live within the Constitution supporting the armed forces. No, I wish I could give you a copy. Meron akong libro eh.
Oh, yeah.
Yung kanyang instruction doon. Ako nagbigyan instruction noon. Sabi niya sa akin, padala mo yan, Eddie. The armed forces of the Philippines supports the duly constituted authority, meaning Mrs. Aquino. We have the support of all the major services. Sabi niya. See to it that everything is okay in your area. In other words, the fact that his own conduct as sa EDSA, as chief of staff, through all these series of events, all nag-project FVR.
Yes.
Ako ba, how could I be elected if not alam nilang kasama ko na FVR sa EDSA at kasama ko doon sa lahat na nangyayari. All because I am FVR man.
So, may goodwill din yung may goodwill din sa'yo.
But, Toby, so we were the ones who organized Lakas-NUCD.
Yes.
Kami ni Nadi Venecia. So, noong ako naging congressman, ako ang chairman sa First District of Batangas. I was the chairman of the entire province of Batangas.
Yes.
I was the chairman of the entire Southern Tagalog region of Lakas-NUCD. All. That's why, when I under Arroyo, I became the interim president of Lakas-NUCD. I was the one who convened, remember, when pinili namin si Gibo to be the president, I was the acting president of the party.
Yes, I remember.
It's all started with the FVR. And ulitin ko, siguro kung di ako identified with FVR sa Revolution at saka doon sa series of events, my people in Batangas could not have known me.
Would not.
But, si FVR man several times pupunta rin doon sa aming area.
Yes,
Siyempre, Ramos ako, siya Ramos. Kaya mga identity. May taon pa naman, ang pinakamalaking pamilya, Ramos and Martinez. Mrs. Ramos is also Martinez.
Nagamit pa yun.
Nag-speech siya sa aming plaza eh. Sabi niya, alam mo, marami akong mag-anak dito. For that matter, pati yung misis ko, ang aking ang mga bahay ng Martinez siya sa harapan. Si Minnie Martinez eh.
So he won, 92, small margin, but he won, And then, I guess, that yung weekly or twice weekly na pumupunta siya sa mga probinsya, yung mga out-of-town assemblies, cabinet meetings. I remember interviewing you in the Southern Tagalog cabinet meeting. Was to mobilize support, ano, because not everyone voted for him. Psyops pa rin.
Pero kaya pagka kaganon, ako I would give much credit to the support of the sitting president. When the cabinet was made to, when the cabinet knew that Ramos was the one endorsed by Cory, it's a different story.
Yeah, a lot actually, have said that they helped out
Kita mo,
also.
he won by a simple majority against a politician as Mitra. Sino ba tinalo? Si Danding, Tsaka si
Miriam,
Miriam.
Danding, Mitra, diba?
Mitra.
Salonga, Imelda.
Imelda.
No? Diba? Yeah. One of the key roles you played during the FVR administration was actually an offshoot of what you were already doing when you were in the military and in the Department of Defense, which was peace.
Exactly.
Diba? And sinundan kita sa Malaysia, sinundan kita sa Jakarta.
Nakasama ka ba sa Tripoli?
No, not Tripoli, but for the MNLF, no?
May galit,
Yeah,
Toby.
tell me,
May galit.
bakit niya gusto?
Kita mo, first, kita mo naman ang mindset ni Presidente Ramos. He became president 1992. Among the first move that he did was organize the National Unification Commission.
Yeah.
It was composed by a representative from the Senate, head of the Committee on Justice, Senate, Committee on Defense, Congress, I was a congressman, so I was a member. From the Cabinet, we have Department of Justice, Department of Foreign Affairs, and from the religious, Protestant, and Bishop. After ang aming chairman, si Heidi Yorak. Okay. After several months of continuous meeting weekly, came up with a recommendation how to address the peace and order problem. So they came up with the recommendation. Number one, adopt the peace process by first organizing the Office of Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process. This was organized in 1993, September of 1993. Okay, the first OPAP was General Yan. Okay? So we went around and meeting outside of the country. Then in 1992, President Ramos, after getting word from Speaker de Venecia that Ambassador Asarug of Libya was requested to clear with the Home Office if we can contact Mishwari, who is there in Libya, to come home and do the negotiation here. So, after 2 weeks, nag-report si Azarug. Welcome for us to send somebody there to talk with the Foreign Affairs. Ang pinadala ni FVR, with the also agreement with the Speaker, ay ako, si Congressman Japar, yung Apable.
Yes.
Kami tatlo. We went there. We were there September 29. By October 2, nag-meeting kami ni Mishwari. It did not take us 24 hours. Naging magkaibigan kami ni Mishwari.
But for you, it was just really re-establishing your old connections, di ba? I mean,
because Mishwari already have heard about me before. And
right.
this was 1992. Nag-Congress, hindi pa ako noon bagong congressman ako. Okay. So, basta ganitong oras, nag-uusap kami ni Mishwari. Imagine, pinapag-meeting kami sa coffee shop lamang ng hotel namin. From 2 o'clock up to 10 o'clock. 8 hours, magkasama kami dalawa.
Talaga.
With our delegation, kami tatatlo, siya, 5, 8 kami. Hanggang dinner, naging magkaibigan kami the following day. Sabi ni Mishwari kay Yong, sabi niya, sige niya, Brad, sabi niya, you can prepare already the draft of the memo of understanding. And okay na sa akin yan. Bira kagad si Yong. Nung makita niya, sige, pagpunta namin sa Foreign Affairs, it didn't take us 15 minutes. Nagulat sila. Nagkaayos na kami. That was the technique of FVR. Back-channeling. Na back-channel namin si Mari. We were able to convince, from 1976 up to 1992, Toby, we were able to convince, with the help of Libya, Mishwari to come home and negotiate in the Philippines. So ako nag-ano noon. Alam mo ang ginawa ng OIC? Yung Committee of Four,
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, Libya, Somalia, Senegal, was expanded to 6. Inilagay ang Bangladesh at Indonesia.
Indonesia. Right.
And made Indonesia the chair. Because Indonesia is near the Philippines, the site of the problem, and the biggest Muslim country in the world. Yun ang strategic. Nung makita ng FVR, ibinigay niya kay General Yan, who was the former ambassador of the Philippines to Indonesia.
Yeah.
Dinala doon. Kinuusap ng Foreign Affairs Secretary Alatas. Ayos. By the time we went there to negotiate in 1993 up to 1996, we were playing the dice. It's loaded already. Kisang Korea. It took us from 1993 to 1996 to crank up the final peace agreement with the MLF. A final peace agreement that implemented the December 1976 peace agreement.
Tripoli. Yeah.
And how we handled Mishwari. Now, some details. I found out to know Mishwari, body-body pala sila. Ni Ruben Torres sa
Yes.
UP.
Yes.
Nung sila naliligaw pala, magkasama lagi yung dalawa na yan.
They were roommates or something.
Okay. Si Tessie de Castro, former Chief Justice, came from the Department of Justice. Nung kami nag-meeting, nalaman ko kay Tessie de Castro na professor nila si Mishwari sa UP.
Yeah.
So ginawa ko, sabi ko, Tessie, papakilala kita kay Chairman Mishwari doon sa Jakarta. Sige, sasabihin ko sa kanya para ma-recall niya. O di, nagkameron ng rapor, si Tessie. Sabi ni President Ramos, Ed, before you go to Jakarta, papag-meeting mo si Ruben at saka si Mishwari. Nag-meet kami sa Insular Hotel sa Davao.
Yeah.
Toby, you should see dito. Pusang naya, pusang Ruben.
Parang long lost no?
But it took us from February 1993 to September 1996 to crank up. But ako naman, pag kami problema, kahit nag-go-go, tinatawagan ko siya sa mga problema doon sa negotiation. But we came out with final peace agreement and we were able to do something to help Mishwari run for governor of the regional autonomous region.
Yeah.
Also, he was a governor for 5 years.
Yes.
And you can imagine with the silencing of the MNLF, pumasok ngayon itong mga MI. Natapos ang term ni President Ramos, si Soriano ang ginawa niyang head ng chairman sa negotiation of the MIL.
Let me get back to that point that you were discussing earlier. Yung instead of going through formal, official, negotiations and channels, FBR utilized, yun yung back channeling.
Exactly. Malaking bagay. Dahil doon sa back channeling, for example,
everyone is comfortable because it's
definitely, tsaka informal
okay.
But one of the things that the other administration failed to do was to involve the OIC. The Organization of Islamic Conference countries is very influential on Muslim population who are minorities in the different countries.
Yes.
That is the mission of the OIC, to look after the welfare and well-being of Muslim minorities in a country such as the Philippines, which is Christian. And so with Thailand, and so with other countries where the Muslims are the minority. Pero malaki ang suasion ng Organization of Islamic Conference.
Tapos dito rin pumapasok yung hindi mo akalaing well, I guess FPR, yung inclusion of all potential affected stakeholders para win-win ba? Yun yung
Inclusiveness.
Yun yung ginagamit niya noon,
Exactly.
win-win.
During the time of President Ramos, we have the Bishop Ulama Conference.
Yeah.
Imagine, the Ulama group from Mindanao, ang kausap niya, the group of people from CBCP, nagkakami. Look at that. Para ma-diffuse yung bang enmity sa bawat isa. Makikita mo mga 5, 6 na ulama na sa Manila, kausap mga obispo dito.
Oo.
And with government just being there in the middle na tayo lamang sponsor ng mga meeting nila.
Yeah, I mean, you facilitate them
Exactly.
meeting and sitting down. And let me get back to FVR. Was he able to accomplish everything he set out to do? I mean, you were in Congress at the time. You already won your second term, di ba?
Yeah, I finished 33 terms.
nga. Yeah, so, nung patapos na yung term, 96, 97, 98, ano, was he able to accomplish everything that he had set out to do?
Well, di ba sinabi ko siya kanina, he had accomplished in 1996, hopefully, to find peace in Mindanao.
Peace,
But natapos ng term niya 1998, hindi natapos doon si MILF. So that's something unfinished. And for that matter, nasira pati yung usapan sa CPP and PNDF. So that's something that has not been fully accomplished. Now, I am sa infrastructure, I know, at least in my district, for example, if you have heard of the so-called tunnel going to Pico de Loro, through Pico de Loro Mountain, that was crafted in 1993 during the time President Ramos by DPWH. I was the congressman. It was only accomplished during the time of Arroyo when in 2009, dinala ko doon si President Arroyo to have a groundbreaking. It was only finished during the time of Aquino. 2012. So,
Takes a while, ano?
but look at the infrastructure of President Ramos. He started the modernization of Batangas Port.
Yeah.
There are supposed to be 3 stages, but I don't think it has been completed. But that is the reason why the Star Road, Southern Tagalog Arterial Road, was constructed to have a road between Batangas Port and Manila. Because the idea of President Ramos was to have the Batangas Port as secondary international seaport para hindi mag-crowd dito. Now, I don't know to what extent we can say it is happening now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What about the conversion of Shangli and Clark into an international airport? That was
Ongoing pa
also
rin.
hindi pa rin. Now we are hearing that Ramonang is having an airport, international airport being constructed in Bulacan. Now, those are some of the things that I know had been in the mind of the president. For example, one of the things that he wanted to do was to convert the Veterans Memorial Compound, hospital compound, into a high-rise area with amenities, and at the same time, use the rest of the ground, BMMC, into something else, so that it can support the needs of the Veterans Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Something that was accomplished was the conversion of a part of, through the BCDA, part of the Villamor Air Base, where the Mega World is there, where the Resort World Casino is there. The idea of President Ramos was to convert Villamor Air Base into Villamor Golf Course into an internationally playable golf course, so that tourists can just, from this hotel and from the airport, they can just enter the hotel and then go play.
Not too far.
They're all in the pipeline, and the same true with the ones in Cagayan de Oro and Cebu. So those are some of the things I know.
You still meet with FBR?
Ngayon?
Madalas pa ba?
Yes,
o
yes.
Once in a while?
No. When we play golf, tinatawagan ako ngayon. At ako naman dito, I visit here periodically, especially in holidays. And just pop out here and then I'll bring red wine, magkwentuhan kami dalawa dito.
Iyan ang gusto ko malaman. Anong napagkukwento? Current affairs, I guess. Or you reminisce, look back at the...
Hindi, si Presidente, masyado siyang focus. Yung bang, despite the fact that he has finished his term in public service as President, you will notice that ang kanyang focus yung bang, he wants to leave behind some legacy. The legacy that he himself, as you said, have not finished. And therefore, he would like to let those who are still in position carry the load of yung mga programs ng deregulation, at saka delegation, etc., etc. Gusto niya mangyari yan. And also, to bring the point to the Filipino people, look, a position such as the presidency is not easy. It's very easy. The way he says, you know, you're like a juggler. You're playing with so many things up in the air and you're in a high wire. And the problem of a president is just so much that he cannot do it by himself. What I cannot forget from his own line, his thoughts, we are in one ship of state. We must work together towards a common goal. Otherwise, if we do that as Filipinos, that ship will break or will not reach the goal. Yan ang kanyang mga ano eh. Look ang mga slogan ni President Ramos. Sharing, caring, daring. Get involved. Work as a team. And he keeps on repeating it sa mga libro niya. That legacy, I thought, na gusto niyang maiwanan niya. All these books that he is publishing, there are many. One of the things that I say, wow, words of wisdom. That's one book that he brought out. But, you know, Toby, I'm sure you must have gone over his book, FVR XYZ Files. See? Ang kabutihan doon, there are many things not written by him, but written by the others. What was the background behind that push-up staying up to the Manila Hotel caper? Why did it happen? Diba? Or what is this fiasco about? Why, after the sale by the CDA of Port Bonifacio, where did the money go for AP modernization program? Mga ganun. But those are written not by him, but others who knew the background, especially from the Department of Budget. Napakaganda nun kasi it was not President Ramos talking about it, but it's others and he brought it together. Kaya yung title FVR XY Files. Mas, yun ang hinihiram pa sa mga kapatid ko pati yung ligawan nila ni Mrs. Ramos nando. So, ayun ang napupunan ko sa kaya sabi ko, yung mga kanyang psyche, hindi siya you cannot let him stay somewhere without doing something which he thinks should be delegated to the future generation. Yun ang kanyang ano lagi.
Almost 60 years that you've known each other.
59 years.
59 years, okay. So, what has made the connection stick? Between the two of you.
Well, I guess, alam mo, natural First, so we were together since I was second lieutenant, he was captain up to the present. 59 years to be. Well, I suppose it is our calling being in the military, both academy graduates, but he's 7 years ahead of me. And therefore, perpetually I look at him as a senior. In our language, perpetually, he is my kuya. 7 years ahead, especially sa military, 7 years, a big distance. And since that time, I've been working under him. Di ba sabi ko, 1959, junior edicam ako, senior edicam siya. She on a special forces siya. Ako, I was on a staff officer there in special forces. He was in Vietnam as chief of staff of the PILCAG. I was a civic action team leader. And then, when I was in GHQ, I was running OCR. He was the organizer of OCR. When, during EDSA Revolution, I was the one handling I worked under him practically as the communicator while he and really were the bosses. So, ang aming relation had always been me working under him. And as president, I was working as member of the peace panel, a negotiator, etc. Still under his direction as president. So, and because of that, and of course because we are both golfers, so we see each other in the golf course open. Pag kami mga tournament, yung mga organizers, laging alam nila na malapit ako kay President Trump. So, lagi sinasama ko sa flight. Kaya nga, yung isang feat niya, if you might call it that, in 2013, after his 85th birthday, Albang came up with the first FVR Cup. Nagdalo ba ikaw ng goal?
No, I just
Okay.
I just
So
watched.
we were in the flight. Doon
Okay.
sa Ayala, Alabang. Kasama ko si Jojo, yung manager ng club, myself, plus Atty. Lambino at si Presidente Ramos. Imagine in one of the halls at the age of 85, he made an eagle.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yun an eagle.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's true.
par 5. If you make 5, par. If you make 4, verde. He made an eagle.
Yeah.
At the age of 85.
Yeah.
Kaya nung sabi sa akin ng club manager, General, pwede ba mamaya during the awarding, ikaw na ang mag-announce and how it happened. So, sabi ko, my last sentence, I recall, is there anybody who can claim that at the age of 85 still can make an eagle?
Shoot an eagle. Yeah.
Si Presidente Ramos talaga napakano. Tsaka, kita mo kanyang behavior. He has one kidney from 1950
Oo nga, no?
until now. And he still, up to last year, he still can have a play around the golf at up to age 89, 88.
Yeah.
Ngayon lang siya hindi na around. And look ang kanyang conduct. He keeps himself fit by just even going out to the golf course. Nasa cart lang siya. But nakakausap niya yung mga golfers. That is the kind of man that he is.
Keep sharp.
Yeah. Tsaka, alam mo, alampo na kayo sa Vietnam. Paghapon, maniligo kami. Lahat kami doon sa isang tent. Makikita mo yan. Naka-shirts from his tent.
Yeah.
Doon sa bathroom. Dala-dala yung maliit na na palangganan doon yung lalaban niya. Nakikilaban din siya din. Makikiligo din siya. Pag that is before, nakano na lang sa kanyang kama. Nagbabasa hanggang magantok siya. Ganyan yan eh. Pag nakahiga doon, nagbabasa hanggang siya magantok. Pag natapos ng lahat, before dinner, meron kaming happy hour. Yan. Mahilig din yan. So, maano yan. Masayang kasama.
He had his time.
Ay, really. Alam mo kung ano gusto niya. Until now, gusto niya madinig na, na kanta. Na laging kinakanta namin nung kami na sa Pilkag.
Okay.
Nadinig mo na ba yun? May butas sa ilalim ng dagat.
No.
Gusto niya
I have
madinig.
to find that.
No, ano yun yung brain exercise.
Oh, okay.
Pakinggan niyo ito, May butas sa ilalim ng dagat.
Okay.
After that, may puno sa butas ng ilalim ng dagat. May sanga ang puno sa butas sa ilalim ng dagat. May pugad sa sanga sa puno sa ilalim ng dagat.
Okay.
May ibon sa pugad sa sanga sa puno sa butas sa ilalim ng dagat. May itlog. May itlog sa pugad. Mamaya may ibon, may pakpak. Yan parang ano yan eh.
Yeah.
Just to yung ito ko pagka kami nagkakain, gusto marinig. Kailan kami kumakanta kami.
Oh. Maya magkakalit. Yeah.
Basta't he has his own time for everything. No, the one experience that I never had with President Ramos is, kasi ang gap namin malaki. Yung katulad ng iba, kung kayo magkakapareho, yung going out, galibanting, night clubbing, etc. Wala. I never had that experience. Kasi,
senior no?
Very senior siya. Iba-ibang
It's been a long, storied, and colorful relationship over the years. I guess it's already also a friendship, mentorship. With the benefit of hindsight, would you have done what you did for FVR?
Let's be put this way. I would say that because of my association with him since I was a young officer, he sort of became, somebody that parang you wish you were like him. Laging ganun
Okay.
You wish, could I be like him, Imagine, ganyan lagi kami. Naging chief of staff, naging secretary of defense, naging presidente. Ako nandun sa likod. At least ako naging undersecretary, naging deputy chief of staff, naging undersecretary of defense, naging secretary of defense. Then ako, naging executive secretary. Right. Short of becoming president. Yeah. So, but makikita mo na somehow, as a junior to him, he became an exemplar.
Yeah.
Of someone who is in public service, and maybe I cannot even compare myself to him, but that's what had happened. That's what had happened. So, I guess it's God-given that I had the opportunity, or it's fated that our service from day one up to the present had been like that.
It was following the same trajectory. You said exemplar of public service. Could that possibly be his
Let
greatest?
let us put this way. Ito iwanan ko sa iyo ito ha.
Go ahead, sir.
Para magkameno ka ng konti, But ako I sort of describe him, sabi ko nga, he is a man for all seasons.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's how I describe President Ramos. And most of the things I said na andyan na. But uulitin ko yung kanyang, he's a man of vision. At saka yung bang kanyang, sinabi ko sa iyo kanina, na ayaw niyan ma-divide ang armed forces, not because of his personal ambition. He wants the armed forces together. And all his actions after EDSA revolution, you know what he did? Hindi akong assistant sa Krame.
Yes.
Sabi niya sa akin, Eddie, you tell all these people in the field who are coming to call on me, alam naman niyang everybody after he was sworn in again. You tell them, do not bother me. Tell them on my instruction. Tell them just to write down what they were doing between February 22 and February 25. I want to read what they were. And you know what, Toby? Those people known as, protege of General Ver, hindi niya pinarusahan. Pinagbibigyan din niya ng trabaho.
Talaga.
I'll give you a very few din na kilala mo. General Patugalan.
Yes.
He was the 2nd Division Commander. Bata yan relative. Yung asawa niya, relative pa ni President Marcos. At saka bata yan ni General Ver. After that, ginawa niyang commander of the General Staff College.
Yeah.
Si Browner, during the EDSA Revolution, was the regimental commander of the Rangers. O ginawa niya siya, yung aming valedictorian. O ginawa niya, Northern Luzon Commander.
Norco. Yeah.
Si Tapia, South Cong Commander during the EDSA Revolution. Ginawa niya, Inspector General. Sino? The others, they were all given their rightful command. Martiliano.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
He became flag officer in command
Yeah. FOIC.
of the Navy. That's the kind of person Ramos is. He is, hindi ba siya bingatibo? Binigyan niya ng, yun ngang classmate ko si De Guzman. Ngayon ko lang nalaman. Last week lang. Mista, alam mo ba, kasi bata ni General Berriot tsaka ni Danding Mista, alam mo ba, after the revolution, akala ko wala na kami pag-asa. Pumunta ako kay General Ramos. Sabi niya, Sir, good morning. Sir, may I make a statement? Go ahead, sabi ko sa kanya. Sir, do I still have a future in the service? Kasi alam na siya, bata ni Danding at sa kanya, Tinignan daw lang siya niyan. Sabi niya, Scrum, gano'n lang. Binigyan din siya. Ginawa siyang regional command ng
Yeah.
That's the kind of person he is. Hindi ba siya tao na normally magagalit kasi bata ka ng kalaban mo? Hindi.
Not
And
vindictive.
that prevented the split up of the armed forces. And you will notice in what I read there sa akin, handwriting, he prevented chaos and disorder. Otherwise, I did not place there. We could have had, nakalagay niya, we could have had a civil war.
Yeah.
Kung hindi ganyan ang kandak. Ang inaasahan ni Cory to hold the military service, including peace and time, is Ramos. Kung hindi si Ramos, wasak-wasak tayo, Toby. Ikaw, nasa media ka, alam mo yan.
Thank you very much.